Damn it. Did you just see the list of people that have been killed by assassination for various reasons? So, and this is not a complete list, by the way. There are many other killings that are happening in KZN and a bunch of girls dancing almost naked, their booties, their boob, like their asses are out. But there's this dance that they're doing.
Investigations has been looking into the assassination of Babita Deokaran for more than a year. We've found that Tembisa Hospital
Welcome to it, man. This is the Free Ride Podcast. Thank you very much for those of you who keep liking, who keep sharing, who keep posting, and who kept sending me messages asking me, Jorge, City, Msitana, Zach, Sipo, hey, Mfwetu, where the hell is the next Free Ride Podcast going to come out? And of course, I've been... it's been a crazy past 2 weeks, man. Crazy past 2 weeks. First of all, in my hood, we lost power for about a week, no electricity. Some idiots came, took our mini substation and cut some locks, stole some parts from it. We were out without power for about a week. All right. So only from this week, today I'm recording it, it's on Friday. We got our substation installed on Monday and actually on Tuesday, and we had power. This was after back and forth communicating with the councillor, with City Power to find out when are they going to get us a new substation. So we've been without power for about 7 days. Now, it's been crazy in our wood. You can imagine not having electricity for 7 days, food go off. If you've got a generator, lucky for you, but you are going to spend so much more on petrol, etc., 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 etc. Anyway, that's not the only reason I haven't been around. I think because of all the issues that are happening around the country, around the world, few issues have been catching my eyes, and I've been thinking, what am I going to come back and try and put together for you for the Free Ride Podcast, and of course this one being the unfiltered truths. Okay, so there's a lot of issues I want to talk about, but I think I'm just going to confine myself to one issue for now, and then I'll come back and do another 2 episodes. So firstly, one of the issues that caught my attention was an article that came out actually this morning. And it's been something on the back of my mind because obviously if you think about it, it's been a couple of months since AKA has been killed. It's been a couple of months since DJ Sumbody had been killed. It's been a couple of months that my R5 was killed. And there are many more. So this prompted me to actually talk about this on this episode of the Free Ride Podcast, being the unfiltered truth, to talk about whether South Africa is becoming a mafia state or whether we're becoming a banana republic. Is there a difference, or are we both? So that's the question today. So listen, if you want to make sure that somebody is pissing you off, it could be your husband, could be your wife, could be your partner, it could be somebody who looked at you a different way, it could be an employee who's blocking you from allowing for procurement so that you can eat through that deal, and they are stopping your deal from going through, Baspanako, supply chain management, and so on. If they are standing on your way, you can actually get rid of them. You can kill them. Yeah, I said it. Okababulai. You can literally kill somebody for about as little as 5,000 Rand to about 250,000 Rand. So there were speculations around AKA's killing that it was not just a random kill, it was orchestrated. So it was an assassination. And there were speculations that it could be anything up to 250,000, depending. So today's show is about that. If you want to get rid of someone, and I'm not saying you must do this, I'm just saying that there are options like that. Okay? It's not a good thing. I wouldn't do it, but people have done it. And this is why I'm talking about it today. Are we a mafia state? Are we a banana republic? So yeah, man. So that's what I'm going to be talking about today. So let me take you through some of the information that I came across that I found very fascinating. All right. So first of all, there's a journalist by the name of Rumbi Matamba who wrote a story about targeted killings, assassination. And it's interesting, and I'll post it here for you to have a look at it, because she says, it says Asasi and then nation in brackets. So are we a nation full of assassins? Are we a nation where anybody can just kill anybody and get away with it? So what are some of the things that actually motivates these killings? And Rumbi Matamba has written about this. There's a few other articles you can find on the net. But some of them that come to mind is things like an insurance fund, especially in a relationship. And I'll talk about the story a little bit later on. But husband and wife came to South Africa 2010. Husband just got married to her. You know, he knew that there was money that was going to come out, pay out. He orchestrated for her to be killed. So I'll talk more about that. But insurance fund could be one of the reasons. Another is the love triangle. So when ucholali a married woman or a married man, and the husband or the wife is on your way, and you want to get married to this person because they are moneyed or they make you feel a certain way, and their partner is on your way, so you can actually orchestrate for them to be removed. So that's what's happened. Family disputes, things like there's a family who their parents have passed on. They left the house for the kids. The kids are fighting together with the cousins. They want a share of the house. Then, somebody orchestrates that somebody or people must be killed. A lot of these also happen in KZN and Mpumalanga. I'll talk about them a little bit later. Then there is political rivalries. I'll talk about one or two ANC councillors who were brutally murdered. I mean, there's many. So I'm not going to go through a whole long list, but I'll tell you about some of them that you can have a look at. And then you've got your consolidating gang. So this is, it's been talked about, especially if you look at ESCOM, where you've got these cartels. They are supplying coal, they are supplying equipment, and they are charging ESCOM exorbitant amounts. And ESCOM officials who work in supply chain management, if they refuse to pass those quotations, they can be taken out. They're supplying coal that is not right, and if you raise issues, they take you out. So many. Also, there's a cartel that also, or gangs that actually take place in the housing schemes. So government issues out a tender for houses, maybe 1,000 houses, 2,000, 5,000 houses must be built. There are all types of different subcontractors that are vying for that work, and some will sabotage the project, kill people so that the project be handed to them. So all of this happens in our country. Then you find those who are organized gangs who are dealing with scrap metal, copper, etc. So anyone who stands in their way, they'll take them out just like that. And then industry power. It's exactly that. Those who want to dominate the industry take out the little guys. And not only are they taking them out through business or work, they take them out through killing them. Just like that. That's how simple it is. So South Africa has an industry of hitmen. All right. So some of them are called Inkabi, and a lot of these Inkabis can be found around KZN, and some of them are around here in Gauteng, Johannesburg in particular. Some of them live in hostels, and they are very organized. They, just like an ordinary hitman, they, if they've been coerced to do some work, they take on a job, they find out who the person they're taking out is, where they live, they do all their homework, they follow you, they take their time to know where you buy stuff. Some of them go to the extent of going through your dustbins. They check what do you spend, where do you spend a lot of your time, your money, the slips, items you buy, etc. Whatever that can give them information about you, then they will do that and follow you. And then they'll follow you while you're driving back and forth, probably for about a month or so before they take you out. So, so like we've seen in the case of AKA and many others, taxi owners have been taken out, etc. This used to be quite big in the underworld back in the day, but recently it's become extremely more present. So these guys are not afraid to shower you with bullets daylight. All right. So now I ask, are we becoming a mafia state? And what is a mafia state? What the hell is a mafia state? Is it a state that is run by gangs, mafias? Okay, so gangs, maybe you might think, if you think of gangs, you're thinking maybe in Eldos, in Rivoli, in, maybe parts of Soweto. I know some parts in Northwest, there are gangs. So they vary. It could be young people, it could be older people. They could be organized or disorganized. They could be high level or just, the bottom part of the barrel. It's like Kimachita, Batwarapo, Koskangeng. They rob people off when they get off the train, get off the taxis. You get those types of gang. Then you get your sophisticated gangs who, they take out, like I said earlier, if you work at supply chain, if you work at like for instance, the Tembisa saga, which I'll get to in a moment, they take you out just like that. Are we becoming that? Where the most powerful, the most connected have become mafia, have become gang leaders, sophisticated gang leaders, and they take out the opposition. Have we become that? Have we become a state where lawlessness just thrives? And if you have money, power, you can get away with just about anything, including killing not just one, but many, many people. All right. So, it's been happening. It's as little as $5,000 if you need to. So what I'm going to do now is that I'm going to take a quick break. I want to show you the list of people who have been killed, and then I'm going to come back and talk to you about it. Let's do that. Let's go. Damn it. Did you just see the list of people that have been killed by assassination for various reasons? So, and this is not a complete list, by the way. There are many other killings that are happening in KZN and Mpumalanga that are not even written much about, especially when it comes to the issues of Eskom in Mpumalanga. The coal issue, there is so much killings that are happening there. The media is even afraid to speak about it. So I, as a concerned resident, as a concerned South African, I'm asking, are we becoming a mafia state? Are we becoming a mafia state where you can't say anything? In some instances, you can't even say much about other politicians because they will block you. They will block you, kill you, won't get you, you won't even get work from government. Bazothi le hayi le yahlanya le ikhuluma kakhulu le enhle kule sizodila ngayo le. That's what is happening. And luckily they can do that to you rather than killing you, because in some instances that's what they can do. All right, so let's first have a look at this one. So Jade Panayoto. All right, so check out. So Jade was killed on the 20th of April, 2015. She was killed by her husband, who masterminded the whole thing. Crazy. So this is just on relationship. So there must have been some insurance money that he was hoping to get. So he thought, wait a second, I'm going to do something about it. So the next one is Annie Diwani. I spoke about her in 2010, November the 13th. She was killed. She was on holiday with her husband and they were hijacked. You remember that story? And then she was killed. And then it was alleged that her husband hired hitmen to kill. And they were just newly married. Even though those who were arrested said Khore Munnao, the husband, was the one that orchestrated the whole thing. And now the next one is Sandile Mteshe Tembe, who was killed on the 4th of March, 2023. And then there is Judah Mtetwa, who was killed on the 16th of February, 2023. Waibona list, you see the list? Opa John Sifoka. Do you remember that guy? Maybe you don't know that name, but that's DJ Sumbody. DJ Somebody's produced some hectic hits. He's from Pretoria. He was from Pretoria. He was a club owner. Apparently was involved in a lot of taxi business. So we don't know if it's the underworld in a club business or he was the taxi industry. He was taken out by his rivals. Or, now this is what's another thing that's happening in the underworld of clubs and club owners. There's drug dealers who wants to sell drugs at your club. There's, so you still have to deal with that. You have to make sure your drugs are not moving in your club. If you stop them, they could deal with you. And if you are, and in order for you to stop them, you need to know them. You need to be in the game to be able to get them to stop, right? And then you've got those who pimp girls, prostitution that happens in the clubs. Guys bring 10 girls, and they're the ones that get the guys to actually, buy either drugs or more alcohol and sex. All right. So when are you thinking, you got game? Women are surrounding these niggas who are popping bottles. It's a whole bunch of girls who are selling, who are prostitutes, who are there to do the work. They are making sure these niggas are spending all their guap on alcohol. Seeing them popping a bottle of 30,000, 40,000, 50,000, 60,000, 100,000. The ace of spades coming there, this pakela. So we don't know what was the motivation behind the killing of DJ Somebody. So let's take a break. Let's check out this video. Sad passing of DJ Somebody because he was showered with bullets, man. Sad. Young talent gone too soon. Let's check it out. Boom. Welcome back to it, man. This is the Free Ride Podcast. I want to check out another artist who was killed in Pretoria, Tshwane. I was just thinking there for a minute. This artist was killed, the Bacardi King. Oh my God. Oh my goodness. Okay, it's not a laughing matter, but I think what went through my mind as my expression just came out, was that I just saw a couple of videos, right? So, and I was looking for Bacardi King, my R5. And then I saw a whole lot of videos on TikTok, right? So I'm going to play one of them just now, but not of what I saw, right? So what I saw there was his funeral. A bunch of girls dancing almost naked, their booties, their boob, like their asses are out. But there's this dance that they're doing. Coco Pitori, got that Bacardi sound. And then the ass moves like that. I don't know how these girls can just, like, the legs move and the ass just goes like that. I don't know how they do it, but they are killing it. Bacardi dance moves by the girls in Pretoria, man. Some crazy shit. Some of it is ratchet, okay? Some of it is hectic, ratchet stuff, but some of it looks damn sexy, man. I don't know if you've seen some of those videos. Anyway, the Bacardi King, my R5 was also gunned down, showered with bullets. I don't know what was the reason behind it. I don't know if it's the game of the music, Bacardi, in Twane, or what the heck was going on there. But whatever it is, he was killed. Nobody has been arrested. Nothing has come out of it. So, yeah, sadly, let's check out that video as well. Let's go. Boom.
Aye, Jehovah, o santse a lefatsheng le hodimo ke tla itlisa.
So I think I'm going to go to the next prominent guy who really, his death shocked all of us, right? And I think he was loved by most South Africans. The most patriotic artist we've ever had, not we've ever had, but one of the most youngest patriotic artists ever to come out of this country, AKA, was gunned down. And of course, he was gunned down in February and in Durban. And this comes after allegations that the family suspects that he is behind their daughter. Remember Anele Tembe, who died, jumped off the building in Cape Town. The girl jumped off after they had an altercation with AKA. The family started asking questions to say, and like, how did our daughter die? Why did this nigga go and drink and pop bottles after the girl had died? And he did not even go to the scene and go and see her and cry by her side after she died. He went on and had a party and drank up, and there was no remorse. Apparently, this is from the family. I mean, there's so many stories, and I'm sure you've seen even the likes of Nota had so much to say, and whether these Inkabis or whoever paid for the killing, they suspected the Tembe family to be behind it, the father in particular, but there were also allegations or stories going around that the girl was suicidal. There were attempts that she has had in the past, and now because she was with a super mega, there's also speculations about her being introduced into drugs by the super mega. I don't know how true that is, but that's come out. And of course, AKA was warned that he must not go to Durban. And remember, for a very long time, he could not move around easily. He was almost on the point of depression, and obviously suffering the loss of his wife, because he was married to her. He paid lobola for her, and he treated her apparently very, very good. But there's also videos where she either had mental problems he was not aware of, and maybe exacerbated by alcohol and maybe drugs, and maybe the feeling of not being fulfilled or not having a purpose. I don't know what gets certain people or other people into the state of depression, but I'll speak about depression the next episode. But now, AKA was gunned down, man. We saw that CCV footage. The nigga was coming out of the club after drinking with his buddies. And of course, you remember everybody was talking about it on social media, including Nota, who said a whole lot of bunch of stuff, which I'm not going to repeat. But, speculations and allegations that his buddies were behind it. Everybody was checking the CCTV camera footage for so many times. I'm one of those people. I watched that footage, I don't know how many times. I watched his friends go out. I watched their body language, especially the one who was suspected that he might have known what was going to happen and the way in which they stood. Hold on, man. Let me stop talking about it. Have a look at this video very closely and see what happened there. This Inkabi came out. We don't know if it's a woman or a girl, but some say that it looks like she's shaped like Unaldi Kevunyana. So, and the way in which she runs. So some are saying it's possible that it's a girl. All right. So check it out. Boom. So, yeah, man, you saw that video, sad killing of the AKA Super Mega. So those assassinations that happen as a result of a love triangle. And of course, I've also mentioned others, also love triangle, insurance money, and so on. So I'm going to get to this particular one, right? So you'd remember this one, Cloete and Thomas Murray. All right, so they were killed on the 18th of March, 2023. These are a prominent insolvency lawyer, Cloete, and his son, known for the work on cases involving the powerful and the corrupt, were shot on the N1 highway near Johannesburg. And Thomas died on the scene while his father died in hospital. So they were investigating. I think it might have been the case of Bosasa and probably many others, because you don't know who hires a hitman and for what purpose. But he was a very prominent insolvency lawyer, and this guy was gunned down with his child. So let me play you that video and have a look at it, man. Sad to see what is happening in our country. Let's take a look. Boom.
You're offering a reward for this crime. Of course, the shooting took place in broad daylight. There was nothing hidden about it.
It was clearly an assassination. The reward we're offering is for 1 million rand for information leading to the arrest and conviction of the persons behind the planning or arranging of the assassination. Because just to catch the people that pulled the trigger is good, but we want the people that are behind it, because if this type of conduct continues, where justice is escaped by using assassins, then we have to realize that we're on a slippery slope. And South Africa doesn't need any law enforcement officials or prosecutors or insolvency practitioners to be assassinated so that people involved in crime can continue to get away with that crime.
All right, man. So the next one I want to have a look at, it's one of the most biggest stories around a political assassination, around either business, politicians, and taking out a lady who was an accountant or a financial person within the Department of Health, who picked up the irregularities, all right, and then he was taken out. So I want you to take a look at the story put together by News 24, and then we'll continue to talk about it after the break. Let's do that. Boom.
News 24 Investigations has been looking into the assassination of Babita Deokaran for more than a year. We've found that Tembisa Hospital was turned into a contract factory. Let's talk about it. 3 weeks before she was murdered, she reported a list of 217 companies she felt were fraudulent, and she died before she could take her investigation any further. The Gauteng Health Department was happy to ignore this report. This was a long list, but we quickly discovered that 54 entities were actually controlled by only a handful of people. They used fake addresses and existed only on paper, and they all scored millions in contracts from Tembisa Hospital at the same time. Washed-up soccer star Themba Shabalala and his wife Evelyn, through 10 companies, scored 15 million rands worth of contracts in a matter of weeks. This included the supply of 200 pairs of children's skinny jeans worth 500,000 rand. We found it strange that all 10 of their companies were formed on the same day. That's not how things work in the business world. But they were obviously very successful, and Tembisa Hospital thought of them as favoured suppliers. This happy couple was part of a much larger network. We discovered 11 separate examples of an individual who would own 5 companies, all formed on the same day, and who would all bank millions in Tembisa Hospital contracts. This is extremely strange. This pattern would repeat itself over and over again. A man by the name of Sidney Tindelo was the beneficiary of 20 million rands worth of Tembisa Hospital contracts. He had no office space and no warehouses for all of his equipment, but he had a bank account where millions were channeled that was meant to keep a struggling state hospital afloat. There are many examples of this, but what is clear is that 54 companies were controlled by less than 10 people. The way they operated seems stenciled, even down to the email addresses they used, which followed exactly the same format. These were the same email addresses that were used to correspond with the hospital. If you ignore all these red flags, these businesses are obviously very successful. But something strange happened when we started to write about them. At the end of August, in the space of 48 hours, control of all of these entities was ceded to just one man. The new controlling hand in nearly a quarter of these companies flagged by Babita Deokaran is Dr. Stefan Joel Govindaraju. We asked him how this came to be and what his links were with these successful tenderpreneurs. Despite sending him a flurry of questions, he seemed very uncomfortable when it came to answering them. It seems to us that these business people are now running. Why, if they were at the helm of legitimate law-abiding entities, would they abandon their companies? We're taking a long, hard look at Tembisa Hospital's brand new business baron and others who benefited from multi-million rand contracts flowing out of a hospital that struggles with staff and equipment shortages. We'll be dropping more stories in this series titled Silenced, published by News 24 in the days to come.
So you guys just checked that out. And of course, Babita Deokaran, who was killed on the 23rd of August 2021. And of course, she uncovered, as you heard in that story, the issue around the Tembisa Hospital. She's a whistleblower and was shot 12 times. You heard it in that video, man, when she returned home after dropping her daughter off at school. So crazy shit that's happening in this country, man. Are we becoming a mafia state? Are we becoming a banana republic where law and order does not exist? And of course, those who are the most powerful can get away with the most heinous of crimes. That's what we're seeing. Another assassination, Muzi Manyati. This is going to be my last one. And of course, you've seen earlier all the names of all those people who are assassinated. I'm not going to go through every single one of them. But this is political killings. Muzi Manyati, who was killed on the 4th of November 2022, the regional deputy chairperson of the ANC in the Gertsibande district, was shot dead at the petrol station in Makondo in Mpumalanga. Daylight. These guys didn't fuck around, bro. They didn't mess around. They shot this guy in daylight, showered him with bullets. And of course, that's how I come to the end, man. Are we becoming that state where law and order does not exist when it comes to political killings, to assassinations, but where not just drive without a license, or your car is not registered, or you owe traffic fines, you are most likely going to be caught. Petty crimes, prisons are full of people who have done, all different types of crimes, of course, but there are still those who are high and powerful who hire these assassins to commit these crimes and heinous crimes. And they still walk freely, get away with it. What are we going to do as a country? Cry, our beloved country, We love South Africa. I love South Africa, Buffett. I really, really love this country. I'm a passionate patriot. I love this country. There's a lot of work that I do, that I help people in our country. I do a lot of work in our community and, of course, in Johannesburg. And I can tell you for free that I love South Africa. And it breaks my heart to see the level of lawlessness that we are seeing in our country. And I think our leaders as well, they don't seem to be touched or pissed or upset or angry at how South Africa has become. We've also have our flood gates are open, our borders are open, our borders are not even, don't have fence. People are just easily walking into our country, committing all sorts of different crimes, and our country is just not being able to deal with it. Listen, I'm not a doom and gloom guy. I'm not here to just go on about the bad things that are happening in our country. There are some good stories that I'm going to be telling, and I have told in the past where I profile people on the Free Ride podcast, but this particular issue really touched me, man. So I'm out. I'll be back soon. I've got some guests lined up. Hopefully, we'll bring them onto the show. So many other things have been happening in the background. People have had to cancel. They've had issues. I've had issues. That's why I could not do a series of interviews. But I'm trying to work around it. So, and I'm trying to bring you some good guests and take it from there. All right. So this is it, man. This is the Free Ride podcast. Thank you very much for all of you, for liking, for sharing, for commenting. I really appreciate it. May God be with you. May He protect you. And listen, be careful and be safe out there. Don't piss anybody off. Do not say anything negative about any politician. Do not step on anyone's toes. If you're in finance, in supply chain, be careful when you decide to be a whistleblower. And if you are just in a relationship, just about to marry this person, and you start revealing your insurance policies, insurance covers, and of course, these are things couples must talk about. But just be careful. All right? Be careful. Modimo ko apula ene. Ke tla le bona. We are out. Boom!